This just kind of, to me, sounds like one of those alcohol-fueled conversations at the end of a night, and I'm just talking to some random stranger about, like, you know, some really deep kind
stuff,
of, yeah, it's like,
that you're not going to remember.
What about space? Like, what's out there, you know? Hey, hello, everyone.
Hi there.
And welcome to our channel. This is Alice.
And this is Kai.
And today we're going to be taking a look at the Simpsons predictions for 2025. I'm not too up on this, I have to be honest. I watched Simpsons when I was younger, but Alice tells me that they make predictions each year, right?
I'm not sure, but what I do know is that a lot of their predictions, or a lot of things that have put in their shows, have become true.
Right.
So now they're calling them predictions.
Okay, so is the world going to end?
I hope not.
Shall we jump in and have a look?
Yeah, we're going to have a look at some of the 2025 predictions that were made in the Simpsons show.
Yeah.
And I guess at the end of the year, we're going to see if any of them actually came true or not. Let's go.
Let's see how extreme they are first.
The Terrible Simpsons predictions for 2025.
The Terrible.
What if a cartoon could predict the future? For over 3 decades, The Simpsons has done just that, astonishing fans with eerily accurate predictions about technological breakthroughs, political shakeups, and even global disasters. From foreseeing Donald Trump's presidency to hinting at revolutionary tech advancements, this beloved show has built a reputation as a comedic yet strangely prophetic lens into the future. But what lies ahead? As we approach 2025, some of these predictions take a darker turn. Shocking, unsettling, and disturbingly plausible. Buckle up, because these top 10 terrifying Simpsons predictions might hit closer to home than you'd think. Let's dive in. Number 10. The collapse of big tech companies. In a memorable Simpsons episode, Springfield becomes a dystopian wasteland after a fictional tech giant collapses, taking the economy down with it. While the plot seemed exaggerated, it now feels uncomfortably close to reality. Big tech companies like Meta, Google, and Amazon dominate the digital world, but cracks are beginning to show. Mismanagement scandals, monopolistic practices, and rising concerns over data privacy have placed them under intense scrutiny. Governments worldwide are imposing stricter regulations on AI, data collection, and online monopolies. These regulations could force significant operational changes, threatening the dominance of these tech giants. Take the Cambridge Analytica scandal as a real-world example. It shook Facebook, now Meta, to its core, triggering lawsuits and regulatory probes. Combine this with increasing layoffs, cybersecurity threats, and public backlash against invasive technologies, and you have a recipe for potential disaster. If a major player were to collapse, the ripple effect could be catastrophic. With economies intertwined with big tech's success, global instability could follow, stock markets crashing, jobs lost, and digital infrastructures crumbling. What was once a cartoon exaggeration now feels like a chilling prophecy. Could 2025 be the year we witness the downfall of these tech titans? Only time will tell.
Never know.
Number 9. Rise of AI overlords. Remember that Simpsons episode where...
Are we talking like Skynet? The Terminator's coming? Like, what's happening here?
AI takes over Springfield, turning the town into a dystopian nightmare? Yeah, it felt like wild sci-fi at the time, but look around now. AI is everywhere, and it's getting smarter by the day. We've got AI like ChatGPT writing essays, Midjourney creating artwork, and robots doing jobs humans used to handle. Sounds cool, right? But here's the scary part. Experts are starting to sound the alarm. They're warning that if AI keeps growing unchecked, it could do more than just replace jobs. It might start making decisions for us. Imagine AI running industries, controlling economies, or even influencing governments. And let's not forget the ethical issues. Deepfakes are making it hard to tell what's real anymore. Biased
I find that as well. Like, you know, you'll be going through Facebook or whatever social media, and you'll go through and they'll just be literally like clickbait, but it'll be like all kind of, it's completely fake, obviously.
Yeah.
But they've used the pictures. It just looks really real. And even on TikTok now, some of the videos, like
the AI videos.
Yeah, it's just all AI, and you're like, it sort of draws you in because you're not paying attention. Like, oh, just have a quick watch, and then like before you know it, it's all fake and like something ridiculous is happening. Like, oh my god, like.
And the whole account is AI. That's how do they? You wonder how do they do it?
Yeah,
and
Yes.
why.
It's crazy though. Like,
Yeah.
it is developing at quite the speed. AI. It's sort of worrying because it started with, like, you know, obviously it started a long time ago, but the main one was like ChatGPT, like people doing all the kind of schoolwork on it almost.
Yeah, just
and
to
it's
help you out. And
exactly. But now it can make pictures, it can make videos, it can do this.
can- yeah.
It's just, you know, the scale
and
in
you
a
can
short
see
time.
how it can start getting used for like bad and evil. And I've seen it in some of the Asian countries. I think we've heard that they're already using it to put people in embarrassing situations. They lose their job because they look as if they're in a video that they've never been in. So the AI is being used. It depends on who's got its hands on it, isn't it?
Yeah, because obviously now if you think what video evidence would have been can now be manipulated in a way that
they can't even tell.
It's kind of scary actually, isn't it?
Algorithms are creating unfair systems, and some countries are already testing AI-powered weapons. It's like we're speeding toward a future where humans might not be the ones in charge anymore. Could 2025 be the year AI crosses the line from helpful tool to something more sinister? The Simpsons might have been onto something. Let's just hope this prediction stays in the realm of fiction. Number 8, food shortages and synthetic foods. Ever seen that Simpsons episode where natural resources run out and everyone's stuck eating weird synthetic food? At the time, it seemed like another wild exaggeration, but fast forward to today, and this might not be so far off. Climate change is wreaking havoc on agriculture. Rising temperatures, droughts, and extreme weather are making it harder to grow crops. Add overpopulation and global supply chain disruptions, and we've got a recipe for food shortages. Some scientists warn that traditional farming might not keep up with demand, and the solutions: lab-grown meat and plant-based alternatives. Lab-grown meat is already hitting grocery shelves, and companies like Beyond Meat and Impossible Foods are booming. These innovations promise a more sustainable future, but let's be real, it's not the same as a juicy steak or fresh veggies. By 2025, could we see synthetic foods becoming the new normal? It's a chilling thought. A world where natural ingredients are rare luxuries and meals come from labs instead of farms. While The Simpsons gave us a laugh, the reality of this prediction could leave a bad taste in our mouths. Let's hope we find a better balance before this becomes our future. Number 7, a global financial crisis. In one unforgettable Simpsons episode, Springfield spirals into chaos after a massive stock market crash causes global economic turmoil. It seemed like over-the-top satire back then, but could this be a warning for what's coming in 2025? Right now, economists are sounding alarms about a possible global recession. Inflation is rising, debt levels are soaring, and many countries are struggling to recover from the financial strain of recent years. Some experts even compare today's financial climate to the period leading up to the 2008 crash. Think about it: tech layoffs, housing markets teetering, and skyrocketing prices for everyday goods. These are patterns.
Maybe this could also refer back to the first point. If the big tech companies coming down, you know, like they could be entwined, if that is a thing, you know.
We've seen before, and they've led to disastrous consequences. If one major economy falters, the ripple effects could trigger a global financial crisis. The Simpsons might have exaggerated for laughs, but their depiction of economic collapse feels eerily relevant. A crash like this would affect everything: jobs, savings, and even access to basic necessities. Could 2025 be the year history repeats itself? Let's hope this is one prediction we can avoid. Number 6, extreme weather events. If you've watched The Simpsons, you know the show has a knack for predicting extreme weather. Everything from massive hurricanes to deadly heat waves tearing through Springfield. While these episodes were once exaggerated for comedic effect, today they're beginning to feel eerily on point. Global warming and rising sea levels are fueling more frequent and severe natural disasters. In recent years, we've witnessed record-breaking wildfires, intense hurricanes, and devastating floods around the world. In fact, 2023 saw over 1,300 weather-related disasters, according to the World Meteorological Organization, causing billions in damages. These events are becoming stronger and more unpredictable, a trend that's expected to continue. The Simpsons made predictions like these decades ago, but now, as climate change accelerates, it's no longer just fictional. The summer of 2023 was one of the hottest on record, with heat waves sweeping across Europe, North America, and Asia, causing wildfires.
That is quite true, to be fair, in some aspects. Like, you know, we are getting hotter and hotter. Like each summer becomes hotter than the previous.
Yeah, it's not just hotter. It's like everything that happens goes to more of an extreme level now. When you have rain, it's like flooding. When you have hurricanes that are all category 4s and 5s.
Yes, it's definitely like, it does feel like, you know, things are getting more extreme. That's definitely something that is quite noticeable, I think.
And crop failures. Could 2025 be the year we face even more catastrophic weather events? If these patterns hold true, The Simpsons might be warning us of what's to come, a future where extreme weather becomes the norm, not the exception. It's a frightening thought, but one we might have to brace for. Number 5, space tourism gone wrong. In a particularly wild Simpsons episode, Springfield's residents sign up for a commercial space trip.
Immediately, I'm thinking of the opposite, where they was going down to see like the Titanic and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And you had that one that imploded, right? Like, I guess it's the same concept. People are rushing to obviously throw out this service without actually checking on ironing out all the kinks. So
maybe
it could be a bit sort of doomed in a way.
Only for it to end in disaster. While the show used this for comedic effect, real-world space tourism is taking off, literally, and the stakes are much higher than we might think. Companies like SpaceX, Blue Origin, and Virgin Galactic are leading the charge into commercial space travel, offering wealthy tourists the chance to experience a few minutes of weightlessness. These ventures have been hailed as the next big thing in luxury travel. But what happens if something goes wrong? A mission failure, a technical issue, or even a miscalculation could lead to catastrophic consequences, as we've already seen with the tragic accidents of past space missions. Space tourism isn't just a thrilling adventure. It comes with serious risks. The safety protocols for these private missions are still in development, and many experts worry that unforeseen technical failures could lead to deadly consequences. On top of that, the environmental impact of frequent rocket launches is a growing concern, especially with regards to carbon emissions. Could 2025 be the year that space tourism faces a major disaster? While the Simpsons episode was over the top, the reality is that space travel is risky, and if anything goes wrong, it could be catastrophic. Number 4.
We haven't seen anything yet that actually said the year 2025 will be the year in which
this is true, actually.
X will happen. But maybe that's coming, because I know some of the other predictions, like for example, I think Trump being re-elected or being elected was one of them, and it had the year on it. And obviously they did it ages ago. So I wonder if there's some of those coming.
Maybe, yeah.
Political instability in the U.S. In multiple Simpsons episodes, we've seen the country plunge into political chaos, often led by rogue or unstable leaders. From corrupt politicians to a chaotic election process, these plots once seemed exaggerated. But with today's increasingly polarized political climate, they're starting to feel more like predictions than jokes. Recent events, including the controversial 2020 election, ongoing political gridlock, and increasing distrust in the political system, show a country more divided than ever. The rise of extremist views on both sides, along with the spread of misinformation, has led to calls for reform, but little concrete action. With 2024 elections on the horizon, the uncertainty around leadership, voter rights, and election integrity could continue to stir unrest. The Simpsons has long warned of a potential breakdown in the U.S. political system, and if the growing divisions continue, we may see similar instability in 2025. Could we?
We have seen after the 2024 election quite a bit of a breakdown.
There is definitely a political kind of
divide, yeah, and people are expressing their opinions a lot more, obviously, with social media and stuff. But yeah, it's interesting.
Politics is just one of those subjects that you just generally want to avoid, though, isn't it? Because there's so many strong opinions on it, and you know, they're not all necessarily wrong or right, but it's just a matter of opinion, isn't it?
Exactly. Everyone's got their own opinions. We're not going to talk politics. We're obviously we're here, we're not going to talk US politics at all.
Oh, of course
we
not.
don't
Ours are bad
understand
enough.
it that well. Ours is enough, absolutely.
Ours
But
is
it's
in a
just
shambles.
interesting that it kind of is already happening.
Yes, and I mean, this was obviously based on what we've heard in probably the last minute or so.
Yeah.
It does say that it was a video that was recorded
Before
so
the election.
it's interesting that things are, to an extent, already happening.
Yeah.
Especially the political
We
side
face
of things.
contested elections, civil unrest, or even an authoritarian shift. As we move further into this polarized era, the possibility of unprecedented political upheaval doesn't seem so far-fetched. Could The Simpsons have foreseen this collapse of democracy? It's a chilling thought, but the signs are there. 2025 might just be the year the chaos hits the fan. Number 3. Breakthrough in time travel. Remember
really?
that wild Simpsons episode where Homer messes with time, creating a series of hilarious and disastrous paradoxes? While it was all in good fun, real-world scientists are starting to take time travel theories seriously, especially with advancements in quantum mechanics. In recent years, physicists have been exploring the concept of time travel through theories like wormholes and quantum entanglement. Some believe that we could one day manipulate space-time in ways that allow us to travel backward or forward in time. Though this idea sounds like science fiction.
Here's the question though. So if time travel was to say it was real, right? It was invented, so to speak, right? Would you ever know about it? Because the person who has that power would have also the power to influence and change. So I don't know if you would ever know.
They would just use it to make things happen the way they see fit.
It would be interesting because
And
things would definitely change.
Us random people.
But you'd never know. Obviously, anyone, everyday person would never know because things would be manipulated and futures would change and you would just be cracking on with it.
Yeah, I
basically.
wonder if you know about the Mandela effect and how collective people, like a staggering amount of people, remember things happening one way, and then actually it's like we live in parallel sort of universes where
Maybe.
actually that was never a thing.
It's kind of deep.
That's never been a thing. There's always been like this, and like hundreds of thousands of people actually, no, hold on a minute. We know and we're sure that this is how it used to be. And it's just quite interesting if we go down that rabbit hole.
This just kind of, to me, sounds like one of those alcohol-fueled conversations at the end of a night, and I'm just talking to some random stranger about, like, you know, some really deep kind
stuff,
of, yeah, it's like,
that you're not going to remember.
what about space? Like, what's out there, you know? Yeah, definitely.
Breakthroughs in quantum computing and particle physics are edging us closer to understanding how it could be possible. But with great power comes great risk. Imagine the ethical dilemmas of time travel. Could altering the past cause irreparable damage to the future? What happens if someone uses time travel for personal gain or worse, to change key historical events? The consequences could be disastrous. So, could 2025 be the year we crack the code to time travel? While it's a tantalizing possibility, it's also a scary one. The Simpsons might have been onto something by suggesting that tampering with time isn't all it's cracked up to be, and the risks could far outweigh the rewards. Number 2, outbreak of a global health crisis.
Oh dear.
The Simpsons has
one?
always been quick to predict the unthinkable, and one of their eeriest predictions was a global health crisis, closely mirroring the COVID-19.
Wait, here we go. Right, so in that clip, Trump was dead, right? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So maybe when that bullet skimmed his ear roll,
It was meant
someone went back in time and just pushed that gun over a little bit. You know? Just conspiracy.
Pandemic. In the episode Margin Chains, a virus from Asia sweeps across the world, causing chaos and widespread panic. Exactly what happened during the early days of COVID-19. Looking at the real world, the threat of another global health crisis is not far-fetched. Antibiotic resistance is growing, with some superbugs becoming nearly impossible to treat. Emerging diseases like monkeypox, avian flu, and even new strains of COVID continue to make headlines, and health experts warn that it's not a question of if, but when the next
I think
pandemic
there's always a
could
chance
hit.
of
The
something
global
cropping up, isn't there? Like,
interconnectedness
no one saw
we've
COVID
developed
coming.
makes it easier for diseases to spread across borders faster than ever before. In addition, climate change and habitat destruction are bringing humans into closer contact with wildlife, which could lead to the emergence of new zoonotic diseases.
That sort of thing.
So, is 2025 The year we face another global health crisis? Given the rising number of threats, it seems like The Simpsons might be onto something. Another viral outbreak could be right around the corner. Number 1. A devastating world war.
Oh.
In one of The
don't say
Simpsons'
that.
most chilling episodes, the world is plunged into a massive global conflict with devastating consequences. While the show often portrays this through humor, the reality of global...
I feel like, though, in fairness, this could easily be brought up and it would be relevant for
Every
the entire,
year.
like every year, basically, isn't it? So
Yeah.
I think
There's
it's
conflict somewhere all the time, and it could escalate.
yes, and I think like with a lot of these predictions specifically, like, you know, like some form of virus coming up at some point, you know, it probably is inevitable. With like the ice caps melting and stuff, it's releasing bacteria that obviously wasn't around or hasn't been around for a long time. So we don't have any immunity to that sort of stuff. You just don't know.
Yeah.
There's loads of stuff.
warfare is anything but funny. As tensions rise worldwide, the prediction of a devastating world war might be closer than we think. Currently, we are seeing simmering geopolitical tensions that could easily escalate into something much more catastrophic. The ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine is one example of how a regional war can have far-reaching implications, especially with NATO involvement. Similarly, tensions in the South China Sea, the Middle East, and even within the US-China relationship have created a precarious global situation. These conflicts have the potential to spill over, dragging more nations into a wider, more devastating war. The rise of nuclear
dear.
weapons, combined with economic sanctions, military buildups, and shifting alliances, adds another layer of complexity. Countries are more armed than ever before, and the risk of miscalculation or aggression leading to war is a real concern. With nuclear weapons still in the arsenals of major powers, the possibility of these being used is a terrifying thought. Could 2025 be the year we witness a full-scale global conflict? If these trends continue unchecked, it's a very real possibility. However, there's hope. Diplomatic efforts, international cooperation, and a shared commitment to peace could still prevent this worst-case scenario. As we move forward, it's crucial that world leaders prioritize diplomacy and conflict resolution to avoid the destruction that The Simpsons might have been warning us about. And there you have it. The Simpsons has certainly predicted some
kinda
chilling
deep,
events
wasn't
that
it?
could come to pass in 2025.
Okay, we'll
Which
probably
of
stop it there. I think that's it.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, it's a bit doom and gloom.
It was
wasn't
very doom and gloom, but I suppose it did say the terrible
Yes,
predictions in
no
there, actually,
funny,
wasn't it? That was
no
very
positive.
like, yeah.
Well, there's not much to say other than we're just
well-
gonna wait and see, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
They don't seem related to the year necessarily.
no, I think it's
2025.
kind of like blanket
just-
statements.
Yeah,
and
there's
maybe
just things seem to be happening in this era and this area, and the Simpsons have made a point of referring to these. So is this the year?
yeah,
That's
it.
kind of what we've seen, which I guess makes sense, but also it might not be the year.
You never know. 2025 might be the year of Fallout. You know, that series might become true. We're all going to be going in bunkers and coming out with people.
We don't
gonna
even
look
have
weird.
any bunkers.
You know, we'll probably just dig a hole in the garden. I think it's one of those, isn't it? It's just, if it ever happens, everybody's doomed,
Yeah.
unfortunately. So at least we're all equally doomed. Doom and gloom. Happy New Year, guys.
Oh dear.
No, it's a shame that there wasn't any positive ones in there, because obviously, you know, as much as there are negative ones in there are probably some positive ones and predictions for the future as well. But at the end of the day, it's a cartoon that's making content. You know, it's just, they've got to keep it going, haven't they? So.
And they do like to exaggerate things,
Oh, of
and
course,
obviously the
of
way
course.
they do it is like
In
you said,
a
for
humour way,
comedic
yeah,
effect,
like a comedic way, yeah.
and to
Well,
be
there you go.
entertaining. There you go.
There you go. Thanks for watching, guys. And well, if you made it this far, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.